to ask any questions in the midst of my talk and everything of that caliber. So listen, so again, thank you so very much. And I'm excited to share. And I want to just jump right into a few things. One is prior to me, prior to preparing to give you, to get my mind and my spirit right for just sharing what I have, I took some time to go through a lot of footage that was specifically from the first footage that I actually have when I did my first visit to Monterey and Prison. Okay, here we go. And I really was very moved at the fact that it's been over 5 years that been coming back and forth to Mexico and being able to inspire a lot of the students, a lot of the educators, political figures, just people in different industries. But importantly, like just kind of watching, looking at the footage and seeing a lot of the individuals that I met along the way who were very young and are now have gone off and are now high school students, but they were super young when I seen them. A lot of them have gone off now to college. A lot of them are now in other countries studying and living, and they still are following me on social media, but they've been following me since the beginning. And it really kind of moved me into right, and it kind of I think social media played a huge role in understanding how strong and how important it is to share your light and your love, and also be aware that when you invest into someone's life, you really don't know how much of an impact you have made to them or to an individual, and sometimes it may take years down the line. And I think that that was one of my first keys to share with you all tonight is that many of us have met many different people along the way in our lifetime. Some people we have forgotten about because we meet thousands, if not, hundreds of thousands of people along the way since birth. And we don't realize that when you meet an individual, you're meeting not, like for example, you're not meeting me for the first time. You're meeting me, but you're meeting every individual that has affected my life prior to meeting you. And so I am the makeup of the love of my grandparents. I am the makeup of the belief from educators who said that I could do great things in the world. I am the makeup of someone that caused me pain or that shifted my life or invested time to love on me or to show me how to do things. And I think that that's how it is with everyone. Like we are all the makeup of individuals that we've met along the way prior to meeting each other. So I think it's important that we all be mindful and be very grateful for all the lessons that we've learned from other people. Whether they have you felt they've done you wrong or they've done you right, but there was a lesson in there if you allow yourself to sit back and think about what it was that you have learned from that person or the experience of a situation. One of the things that moved me at this moment when like I said, like I had a whole entire like structure down pack, and I mean I still have it here on my right side. I can show you here. I had all my notes, but then my concierge came and I ended up doing a whole nother list of notes. And I wanted to make sure that I mesh it together. And I don't want this to, and I think that this is important to share with you all because I think that for whoever it is that is watching this, whatever time, whatever day, even right now, he talked about the term afford. And he said that afford is the ability to pay for something. But a lot of times we don't understand like why haven't we gotten to a certain level in our life, or why is it that when we get something that we believe that we deserve or something that we're connected to, it sometimes it can be very difficult, or it doesn't work out the way that we want to, or things are kind of, it's moving slow. And one of the things that he told me was that, when you think about the term afford, it means the ability to pay for something. But he said, just because you can afford it doesn't mean that you can afford the responsibility. And I thought that was very powerful because a lot of times we think that we should get something, right? Like we deserve something. And then we may have the ability to get it, but do we have the ability to maintain it? We have a goal in mind. We may want to get a house. We may want to get a car. We may want to get in a relationship with someone, or we have this big goal. But the thing about it is, when you have the capability to attract it, right? To get it, you have the money, the funds to get it. The question is, can you maintain it? Can you maintain what you achieved just today? Can you maintain the fact that you understand, like, you may be in good health? You gotta have a responsibility of keeping it intact. You gotta, you want to get a house, you get the house, but then the question is, can you afford the maintenance of it? And even when you say, I want to be friends with this person, I want to have this business, or I want to do certain things in my life, the question is, again, you may be able to attract it, but do you have the ability and the response, and can you afford the responsibility of maintaining it? And to me, I thought that was super powerful, because I think about, like, so many different things. Like, people will cut corners in their life because they want something right now. They don't realize that things take time, and you got to be patient, and you got to be able to understand that, nothing that is great, nothing that is dynamic, nothing that is good for the soul will ever be rushed. You cannot cut corners. And even in this day and time with the pandemic and all that we're dealing with, I think that even though it's chaotic in some way, shape, or form, in different ways, but it also allowed us to sit still and ask us questions about, well, where are we cutting corners in our life? Where are we not taking responsibility that we need to take responsibility in? And once we kind of sit back and be honest with ourselves, and with our true voice and our true thoughts, I think it's then that you begin to understand that you can now afford attracting something, and also you have the ability, and you can afford to maintain whatever that may be, if you have to come back to it again. Now, and because this is focusing on Mexico, I think that there's so many different lessons that I learned now when I sit back and think about my time traveling through, and specifically in Monterey. And I love the fact that San Patricio, when I come to the schools, and, like, like, I just think that there is so many different moments in my life that has impacted me, just of me being at the school, being in the city, being with the educators, and being with the students. And one of the things that was very interesting, and if I hope I'm saying this right, in the school, right? I remember coming to the school and going to the auditorium, and I would go on the stage, and the kids would get super excited, and it's always a great energy, and it's a great love. But on the wall of the school, it says something in regards, I think I wrote it down too. It's something along the lines of, like, bringing family together since 1983. And here's something very interesting. 83 is the year that I was born. And what's powerful about that to me is that, um, when we are in our journey, and when we are doing things right, the universe and God will literally give you signatures, or give you little hints that you're doing a good job, or that you're on the right path. And I think that is very, 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 very important to remember, is that when you are walking your journey, and you're on your path, and you're trying to be strong in your responsibilities, and you're trying to make sure that whatever it is that you're trying to afford in life, that you are also making sure that you can take hold of the responsibility, is be mindful that, look around and see what the signs are. Because, I always say that the universe will, and God will always give you a sign if you're on the right path. Your friends will tell you some things. People that you don't even know may say something to you, or observe something about yourself, and then they will give it to you as a sign. And I think that, so again, like, when I travel throughout Mexico, I always have a tendency of just um, not having expectations, but being open to everything. I love always saying, everybody always say to me, my home is your home, or this is your home, or, you're always welcome. That was always the first statement that was always given to me, from my friends that I met for the first time. They always said, Rod, you are always welcome. And that's how we have to look at things when it comes to the positivity of our lives, and with everything, again, that's happening, and things that we want, and who we deal with. It's like, it's always welcome to have love in your life. It's always welcome to be able to do the things that that will bring a benefit to your life. It's always welcome for the blessings of others, and the blessings of the world to come into your life, and to be able to help you flourish. And for me, again, thinking about the school and the students, like that is very profound to me. And even in the midst of this, and I think I might have shared this before, in Mexico, when there was a mountain that I had to climb, and I used to tell this to the students as well. And this talks about, and I'm getting to the aspect of now. Again, I had to tell you about a Ford, and then again about how being open, but the aspect of like what was this statement he told me? Uh, the greatest exchange. And I think this is a powerful statement, right? The greatest exchange. And when I was having the conversation, and his name is Tristan, by the way. So Tristan, I heard, and he talks about, when you are taking the responsibility to going down a path that's that's unknown, when things around you are looking shaky, and people have a sense of fear. And right now, a lot of people are fearful because of COVID, right? People are fearful because a lot of things in everybody's countries is looking different. Some people can't travel to certain countries, like myself. We don't have a vaccine right now, and all these different things. But the aspect of like the greatest exchange is that no matter the situation, no matter how chaotic things may seem, you have to exchange fear for faith. And that's important because when you are able to do that, you have a sense of comfort. You know that you're exercising. I would say like your faith is the muscle, and the more faith that you have, the stronger you become, and the less fearful you are. And I think it's important in these days and times that if there's goals that you haven't that you didn't have the time to try to accomplish, you should definitely do so now. Of course, the normal of what we looked at now as that was normal is no longer normal. Like we're now in a new normal, which is very different and very unknown to us. But we have to learn to adapt in ways to be able to still be able to figure it out, accomplish our goals, be able to still be of peace, be of light, and be of love to others. We still have to try to, every day we wake up, we still are blessed with life, and we still are blessed with health, and we still are blessed with an opportunity to make to have due diligence on the things that we're supposed to do to make our lives easier, much more peaceful, and also make sure that it's also as peaceful as possible for those that we're connected to and that surround us. So when I was in Mexico, there was a mountain that I was climbing, and a friend of mine had invited me to come climb that mountain. I know some of you probably heard this story before, and when he told me that we was going to be hiking for 3 hours, I assumed that it was going to be a light walk in the park. I thought that I could wear my sneakers, my jeans, my tank top shirt. I bought us, I think it was like two Snicker bars, a bottle of water, and a sandwich, and I'm like, okay, 3 hours, right? But as we were starting our hike, what was very interesting was that in the beginning, everything was calm, everything was cool. We were taking pictures, we were doing selfies. There was a water coming from the springs. We drank the water from the springs. I was having a great old time. We were skipping. The path that we were on was very large, so three of us can walk on the path and do our thing, and it was really really awesome. But what was interesting was after we got to like our third hour of the hike, he said to me, it was three of us on the hike. He goes, Rod, there's another path that we can take that will show us a different scenery and a better view, but it's a little bit more difficult than the one that we are currently on. And the one that we're on is just the one that everybody takes. It's a path that's that's given to you. You got a map, and it's easy. You can do it. But if you want to take this one that's been man-made a little bit, like not too many people taking it, you'll really enjoy it, but it's going to be a little rough. So, me being very adventurous, I'm like, let's do it. So we started going up, and of course, the elevation, so, we get really steep up the mountain. Now we get to the point where, of course, things aren't as safe as they were on the main path. And as we are climbing up that mountain, we're getting so high that we're above the clouds. And I've never been on a mountain where I'm above the clouds, and it was so beautiful. But we had to keep going. So now that 3 4 hour hike ends up becoming 6 hours. And I'm sitting here like this is crazy to me because we started in the morning. Now, give me just a quick overview. I started around 7 o'clock in the morning. We didn't get done with our hike, like getting down back to the car to about 5:30. So this hike was all day. And mind you, I was not prepared for this. My gear, nothing. But while we was on the path, something interesting happened. The part where I was looking over the clouds, the path got very tight to the point where I was so nervous my knees buckled, like I couldn't move. So what I did was I got on my knees and on my hands, and I the point where the road started to open up Capital. And I hope you see something really quick, freeze on you guys, but if it did on the box star moving forward, sometimes going on a usually taken, it can be very narrow, it can be very narrow. I got up and I hope you see something really quick because I know that my screen has did, or if you can still hear me, just text. You must keep asking yourself questions of, if you feel a certain way, why? And how do I solve this problem? How do I figure this out? Because there's no going back. Even like with everything happening, there's no going back. There's a different safety net that now has to be created. There's a different way of communicating to people. There's a different way that we have to educate our students and our children. It can be small. It can get very difficult. Different way of now socializing, and this is it's no going back. So you can have fear of what's going to happen or what's happening, or you can have it stronger because of what we are dealing with today. And again, my thing again is just to let you know that my words for today is the aspect of just keep going and be mindful that um, change what you plan to afford to buy, whatever that may be in your life. But the question, is strong enough for the responsibility enough to go to this next move in a way that you've never moved before. And it also challenges you on the inside because